At Man City Fan TV, we're really pleased to promote this wonderful sketchwork, artwork by a lady called Leslie Ross. You can follow Leslie on Twitter at 111Leslie111 and also follow her on Facebook and Twitter at 9320art. Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV, and what this is our preview for the Fulham game, which kicks off on Saturday at 1:30. What we did was we got in touch with Matt. He's a sports journalist, freelance journalist and producer. And what we did was we sent each other 5 sets of questions, and Matt kindly answered them. So my first question to Matt was, how's your season been so far?
Well, the obvious answer is disappointing. You know, you go into this season off what was an incredible end to the season last year, with some level of hope and optimism. You know, not expecting to do what Wolves did, for instance, but to at least be somewhat competitive, and then to have it turn out the way it has is disappointing and just a huge shock, to be honest. Like, if we'd have scraped through the Championship, then and we had these sort of results, I wouldn't be that surprised. But it's the manner that we've changed from what was such a dominant team last year to this. And there's so many factors, you can't really pin it down to one thing. That's another confusing thing. If we had a spate of injuries all the way through the season to our key players, again, you could say, well, it's just luck. But there's so many things that have gone wrong this year that you can't put down to just one thing. It's just incredible, really. And as I said, coming off what we did last season to what we're doing now is just hugely disappointing. So our only hope is that when we come back up, we hopefully don't make the same mistakes again.
Okay, Matt's first question to me was, he at Fulham, they have seen a change in the type of fan since they've come up to the Premier League. And he wanted to know, are they more neutrals and tourists? And do we see it at Manchester City since our success has started in this recent era? So I think my answer to that would be, if you've got a large stadium capacity, which the likes of the Emirates, you're looking at Spurs' new stadium, you're looking at Old Trafford, you're looking at the Etihad, then there are always going to be spare tickets flying around. Now, many of those might be for corporate. So you're going to get people that aren't necessarily fans of your particular club. So for us, Manchester City, there might be people, tourists, who are in the city centre and think, well, I want to take in a football game, just like we do when we go to places like Madrid or Barcelona. You might say, I'm going to see if we can get a ticket for the Camp Nou, but and I think also with that, I think success draws these type of people. So because of City's success, certainly over the last 7 years in particular, and the type and style of football that we play, then it's going to draw people to want to watch that, brilliant brand of football. So you've got those who might want to watch, and not necessarily, let's say Man City fans, that aren't necessarily a City fan, but want to watch that football because of the way City play. Or they might just be visiting Manchester for the weekend and think, I'm going to try and get a ticket for the match. Now, many of those tickets might be corporate tickets, so expensive. You do see, I've certainly seen them without a shadow of a doubt, more and more over the last few years outside the Etihad. But that's not a bad thing. I don't mind it. It shows that people have shown an interest in the club. It also shows that we're doing something right on the football pitch. So I ain't got a problem with it. Nobody seemed to mind when you look at Liverpool and United. Their past success has drawn in fans from Ireland and Scandinavia. Now, they're not expats from the UK. They live there. They were born there, yet they supported or started supporting the likes of Liverpool and United back in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, mid-90s, because of the success that they had back then. So, are they tourists? So I don't mind it at all. And if you're talking about, part of your question was, is there still a hardcore element of die-hard Man City fans? Absolutely. If you look at this tweet that I'm going to put up in a second, you can see that Barclays did a survey on the Barclays Premier League teams, and Man City, 55% of City fans have been watching City for 25 years or more. That's the highest in the Premier League. So, you know, when people sort of use the word plastic fans, well, if we've been proven to have fans that have been following City for 25 years or more, what does that say about other teams' fans? So, yeah, it's I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I know some fans do, but I don't. That's just my own personal opinion. My second question to Matt was, who's been your best signing or player this season?
Best player or signing? That's a bit of a weird one, given the season we've had. You know, I was discussing this on the Fulham Focus podcast a couple of weeks ago. Is there any player that comes out of this season with any sort of dignity is not the right word, but some level of credit, if you would? I mean, you can't really pick one, because even in a down season, you'd expect some player to sign, like, for example, Alexander Mitrovic. Even a struggling Premier League side, you'd expect your main goal scorer to get 10 goals, and I, off the top of my head, don't think he's done that this year. So, you know, even if you go through the squad, there was a stage where Sergio Rico was proving very well, but the tide has completely turned on him. Across the back, I can't really come up with anyone. Midfield, no, and up front, no. If I'm being brutally honest, you know, if we were giving out a Player of the Season award, I don't know how you could give it to any player, because the abject failure. Yeah, failure is probably a good word. The abject failure that's gone on throughout the whole team this year is just shocking. That I would not give out a Player of the Season award this year, if I'm being brutally honest.
Matt's next question was, what are my thoughts on the potential two-season Champions League ban? Well, let's first off sort of put that one to bed. With regards to Champions League, that will come from a challenge by UEFA. Now, UEFA haven't charged Man City with any offence as of yet. Where you're talking about bans is from FIFA, and they've opened an investigation with regards to the Jadon Sancho signing, an alleged payment of £200,000 to an agent when he was under 16 years of age. They're investigating 9 players that were under 16s and their signing. So if there was going to be a ban like the Chelsea ban, it comes from FIFA. It's nothing to do with UEFA and the Champions League, because we haven't been charged with anything by UEFA as it stands at the moment. So it's nothing to do with FFP or anything like that. Chelsea were charged by FIFA on 29 counts of players being signed, underage players. We've been charged with 9, if I remember rightly. So if there was a ban like Chelsea's, it's for 2 transfer windows. It's not for 2 seasons. If you think they got a 2-window transfer ban for 29 players, they're looking into 9 for City. So let's say they found us guilty and did give us exactly the same punishment as Chelsea for having 29 players signed illegally, then that would take us this summer and January of 2020, and then that would be it. Now, as it stands at the moment, FIFA have basically told Chelsea that they will not suspend their investigation whilst Chelsea are challenging it. So basically, Chelsea will have to, what they're going to have to do is going to have to put their challenge together pretty quickly before the summer transfer window starts, because otherwise, once they reach that, their suspension, their transfer ban stays in place, which means they can't actually do any dealings. So don't be surprised if certainly in the next few weeks, Chelsea are actually already submitting their appeal to FIFA before the end of this season, so that it can be cleared up, reduced, or whatever happens stays the same. At least they know where they stand. So it's not to do with the Champions League, it's to do with transfer bans, nothing to do with Champions League and UEFA. So just wanted to clear that one up. My third question to Matt was Ryan Sessegnon. He's got a big reputation, but can you see him going on to be a world-class player?
Ryan Sessegnon, yeah, I absolutely think he can be and will go on to be a quote-unquote world-class or elite player. He's got the skills, he's got the attributes to do so, but what he needs to be played, for instance, in the right system, and I think he needs a good level of coaching as well. I mean, playing for 3 different managers this year, all of whom want to put him in different positions. He started the season left back, for instance. Playing under a system where the systems keep chopping and changing is not going to be ideal for him. He needs a good structured system, which is why I've said if he were to go to somewhere, if he were to go somewhere, I think ideally Liverpool or Spurs, because they've utilised and used young talent incredibly well. I wouldn't want to see him go to Chelsea, for instance, not just because they're rivalry, but because they haven't really used their youth system in the past, and they would continue to ignore the youth. If he went there, if you were to go abroad as well, maybe fit him on the other side with Jadon Sancho and Borussia Dortmund. I could see that maybe working out for him. But he he absolutely has the skill, the skill and the talent to do so, but he can't do it on his own. There's still a little bit that needs to be coached out of him. Now, if he's going to succeed at the top level, he can certainly do it at the Championship level. We all saw that last year. But if he's going to make it at the top level, in the top division, top tier, and then go on even further, I think he needs a good coach and to be played in the right system.
Matt's next question to me was, he believes that Fulham are proof that spending money doesn't bring success. And he said, as an example, we spent just over £100 million when we got promoted to the Premier League this season. Only Liverpool outspent us. What are your thoughts on that? Well, my thoughts on spending, I don't turn around and I'm not one of those that will look at Fulham spending 100 million and saying, how dare you spend that money? If you've got the money, spend it. If you want to spend it. There's no more hypocrites in football, in my opinion, than Liverpool fans in particular and their manager. If we go back and look at the comments that Klopp made 18 months ago, where he turned around and said, teams can spend what they want, but you'll never catch me doing it because it's not the right way to go about it. What happened 18 months or 12 months later? £75 million for Virgil van Dijk, £75 million for a goalkeeper, plus another, £200 million worth of signings. And then he turned around and admitted and said, yeah, maybe I was wrong. Money generally will buy success on the whole, not always. And certainly if you spend in very big. Like we have, like United, like Liverpool, like Chelsea have in the past. It's just a byproduct of success, and clubs come along every now and then, like Leicester, and that was a one-off, and that was brilliant. The neutrals in particular thought it was wonderful, but it's rare. It's very, very rare. So it shows, for me, it shows ambition. And when people talk about, yes, but we sold Coutinho for 140 million, so net spend makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Because you can say, oh, I tell you what, we've sold Suarez and Coutinho, but we didn't replace them. But that doesn't show ambition. So you've got to reinvest the money to improve your squad and your team. So it's not about, well, net spend. It's garbage. It's an absolutely stupid argument. So for me, it shows ambition. It really does. Now, of course, if you spend that type of money and don't win anything, like Liverpool are at the moment, then that ain't great. And that's where problems exist. That's why Liverpool are under so much pressure this season to win something. And that's only 2 competitions. That is, they've either got to win the Premier League or they've got to win the Champions League, because for that investment, winning nothing again is just not acceptable. And it'd be the same for City. If we spent, if Pep had spent £400 million in 3 years and we won nothing, it wouldn't be acceptable. It'd be a disaster, in fact. Where we won the double last year, we've already won 1 cup. We're in the semi-final of the FA Cup. We're still in for the Premier League and the Champions League. So Pep has time on his side because of what happened last season, the Centurion season, where we smashed every record in the Premier League. So, yeah, Liverpool are under, and well, Klopp in particular is under enormous pressure to win something. And that is either got to be the Premier League or the Champions League. If not, 3 years, absolute failure. Might have improved the team and the squad, but it's a failure to, especially spending that much money. So I don't buy it. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to improve your squad. If you're going to have to improve your squad, you're going to have to spend money. It's that simple. So I wouldn't worry about it. If you've spent £100 million on players, so what? If that 100 million kept you up this season, in with a good shout for next season, then fair enough. If you got relegated, then of course it's not ideal. But in this day and age, 100 million isn't huge. I mean, you look at what Wolves have spent as well, but they've done really, really well this season. So, yeah, don't go down that route. Who cares what you spend? As long as you've got the money to spend it, to spend, then spend it, is my opinion. I then asked Matt a cheeky question. I said to him, who would you rather win the Premier League this season, and who would you rather win the Champions League this season?
I'm got to be honest, full disclosure, I'm not just saying this to be antagonistic because I'm on your fantastic channel, but I've said for a number of years I'd love to see Liverpool win the league, just because I'm one of these fans that is against all the other fans that says they're going to be unbearable and so on. Yeah, I don't want to say I've always had a soft spot for Liverpool, but I did always have a soft spot for Steven Gerrard. Because just I think he was a great player, so I was really disappointed when they lost out in 2013-14, and ever since then it's just been one of those things. Because I think the English football and football as a general works and goes well when the big names are successful. 9 years of Arsenal not doing well, it didn't sit right for me. It was funny, but it just didn't sit right for me. Football and any sport is better when the big names are successful, and Liverpool are a big name. Again, not being antagonistic, but on a level, they're higher than Manchester City. Plus, also, I think it would just validate Jurgen Klopp as the thing, as a very good manager. When it comes to the Champions League, not really fussed, to be brutally honest. But on the Premier League side, at least, I'd hope it's Liverpool, just because I think it'd be good. I think it will be good for English football. I know you're certainly going to disagree, and everyone else is going to disagree. But that's just my feeling, is that I want Liverpool to win the league because it's good. It's good for football.
And Matt's last question to me was, what's my score prediction and potential lineup? Well, I'm going to go for Fulham 1, City 3. Lineup always difficult with Pep Guardiola, but I'm going to go Ederson in net. I'm gonna put Walker at right back. I think it might be too soon for John Stones and Vinny Kompany, so I'm gonna go Otamendi and Laporte, and I'm gonna keep Zinchenko at left back because I don't think Mendy's ready either. Fernandinho, I think, will be back, and Holding ahead of him. I'm going to play Bernardo Silva on the right, David Silva on the left, and then up front the usual three: Leroy Sané on the left, Sergio Aguero up front is nice, well rested. And Raheem Sterling coming back from brilliant international duty on the right-hand side. So fingers crossed that'll be a strong enough team to get us 3 points, because at this stage of the season, 3 points are all that matters. And finally, I said to Matt, give me a score prediction.
I think it's going to be much of a repeat of the last time we played you, which I think it was either 2-0 or 3-0. All I know is we didn't score, which did surprise me, and it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't score this week. It's the worst possible thing is Manchester City coming off an international break, because all those players who didn't get picked for their international squads, I think Sergio Aguero got left out, if my memory serves me correct. He's going to be fresh and ready to go, and also those who did play, like Raheem Sterling's going to be on a huge amount of confidence, so he's going to sit 2 or maybe 3 past us. And also you add the fact that the title race seems to be, quote-unquote, hotting up right now and getting really close. Pep Guardiola is not going to want any sort of slip-ups. Liverpool have shown this season that they can slip up against the, use the TVG line, slip up against the smaller opponents like Burnley. Are the only ones that comes to mind. I know they've had a few more. Yeah, Pep Guardiola is not going to allow that to happen. And as much as Scott Parker would have had 2 good intensive weeks of working the players in training, it's still not going to be enough for us to come up and pull any massive surprises. So Fulham going to score 0. That much I can be certain of. When it comes to how many you're going to score, it can be anywhere. It can be anywhere between 3 and 6. If I'm being brutally honest. So yeah, call it law of averages. Let's call it 4-0 to Manchester City.
So I want to say a massive thank you to Matt for doing this video with us. Go over and check them out. They're at Fulham Focus, and did an article with them yesterday. So anyway, guys, give us your comments below the video. What do you think the score prediction is going to be? And maybe give us your possible lineup. Anyway, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Sorry, something just flew at me. Don't forget, subscribe, click notification, and keep commenting and watching the live vlogs that we're doing every day. So take care. We'll see you soon.